Hi everyone, welcome to Window Chats with Robyn, the Instagram Live podcast where I sit by my window and chat with very interesting people. Today we have Jason, and I'm excited to actually see his face because I've only spoken with him on Clubhouse, so this should be fun. Or terrible. Either way, I think it's worth watching. If you have missed this episode, feel free to catch it on YouTube, or on Spotify, or Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, or Instagram afterwards. So there's a lot of options. Oh, see, Carrie, I said it was Jason, but you tuned in a little later. And Jason's here, so we're gonna invite him in, cause it's happening. Da, da, da. This is a song now, I regret it. Okay, hope it works. Will it work today? This is the most stressful part of every chat. It worked. Hi.
How are you?
This is what you look like. Nice to see you.
This is kind of what I look like. I guess we've been talking on Clubhouse, and there's that thing where you don't see what the other person kind of look. You get the headshot, right? And you kind of get a general idea of what they look like. How are you this morning?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. I appreciate this so much.
Oh, thanks for wanting to do this. Are you okay with your framing? Just want to make sure you're okay. I think you have a good frame, the good lighting.
Is that good?
I think you look okay, but I just want to make sure. Again, it's not just actors that are vain. Feel free, please.
This is as good as it's gonna get there.
The glasses are cool. You're very stylish.
Yeah. Well, I kind of need them. Otherwise, it's a crapshoot.
That's fair. See, I'm a contact girl myself, but I respect the glasses.
Now, do you wear clear contacts, or do you change it up sometimes with color?
Oh, great question. I love me some color, but I also have these other ones that make my eyes look huge. Hello.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's like,
wow.
Whoa, her eyes are so dilated. Yeah.
That is awesome.
Fun fact, do not wear those for a headshot session. I learned that the hard way. That is money poorly spent. But that was a life lesson of learning.
But isn't that what everyone wants? Big eyes on their headshots?
That's what I thought. And then I got them back and I'm like, oh, my eyes kind of look dead because I couldn't really express anything with them. So it was very interesting.
Yeah, no, exactly. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. So here we are.
See, that was the fun banter. We get that out of the way, we make sure we're comfortable, and then we discuss. Okay, so I like to creep everyone on their social media before beginning. And did you share your food? Are you that kind of person that shares their food?
You know what?
What's the deal with that? Okay.
But I've got this little challenge going on with one of my actors right now that she believes that she could out new age me. And I said, there's no way you're going to out new age me. I am so sorry. So if you creep the YCAA actors, you'll 100% know who it is. If you look at the chats right now, she's not very good at keeping it secret.
Well, you also tagged her in it, so yeah,
yeah, so there you go. So she's gonna try and out new age me, and there is absolutely no way that's gonna happen.
Well, what does that entail? I don't new age other than being a hipster with avocado toast. I'm like, what is
well,
it?
That's it. It's basically avocado toast every day, all day, and maybe going for a run or a jog. But I've got a couple of tricks up my sleeve that she's probably not anticipating, and
amazing.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
I would say the glasses are gonna help. Definitely keep the glasses, but also I throw in like a really fancy latte, oat milk, some cortado, not even a latte, just one of those obscure things, and it has to be local. And then you know that's I might have just I spoiled that. Well, you're both here. One of you take it or don't. It's a thought.
Yeah, no, exactly. No, I like it. Good.
Okay, cool. That was my thought on that. But we didn't bring you on the collective of Robyn didn't bring you on to chat about avocado toast. Although who wouldn't want to talk about that?
I could go on about avocado toast. It's surprisingly good. Like as a spread, I mean, it's a good spread. I'm not gonna lie. But
can I tell you, that is the most frustrating, I guess it can be considered a fruit to work with because there's about a couple days you have. That's it. And then it's ripe, you use them all, and then they're just, disgusting. Don't look at me. It's brown inside. No, thank you. So do you have any tricks to prolonging the avocado shelf life?
How Not to Die, right? And it's basically a book that's about health and diet. And that's my primary motive. My motive is not to have an online feud with one of my actors or or to lose necessarily any weight. My motive, my end game is to actually understand how to be a healthy person, right? And they were saying in the book that the healthiest part, and I'm not going to go into all the science doctrine that they talk about, but the healthiest part of an avocado literally is the darkest green part closest to the the peel, right? To the skin. So so you have to be very careful as to how you open it, right? Slicing it sideways and then twisting it and bringing it open. Right?
I have not been twisting it. I'm going to add the twist. It's like an Oreo, except it's healthy. There you go. Add the twist.
There you go.
This is like life lessons with Jason.
Yeah.
Life hacks. I would watch that show.
Yeah.
But no, I honestly love your social media feed. I get so inspired. And again, you're not my agent, but I love following different agencies and different casting agents. I just like to follow anyone in the industry. And I love the content. I don't know if it's you creating it. I don't know if it's Emma, a combination, but it's some really good stuff. I'm very impressed.
So are you talking about the YCAA content or my own personal content?
I think I looked at all three. I looked at yours and Emma's and the young YCAA account. Yeah. Honestly, there's some good stuff on all of them. It's really well done. It's fancy.
Yeah, okay, so a little backstory. I used to be, before becoming and focusing on this industry and becoming an agent and representing talent, I used to work in marketing, and I used to work for a social media marketing agency. So it's not by accident that our social media has a purpose and that we know what to do. But to answer your question very specifically, everything that I post on my social media, I create myself. I think of myself. Emma, whatever she posts is what she posts on herself. And YCAA, the account, is primarily done by this young lady who used to work for me at Snap and now is almost exclusively at YCAA. Her name is Claire, and she does a really, really great job.
I mean, it seems like it's a full-time job. It's a very consistent posting that I think who is doing this. So I thought, I don't know, I feel like you guys have to work. How are you finding time? So thank you for clarifying. And Claire, well done. And you and Emma as well, but just like bravo for anyone that spends the time on social media, because I have a love-hate relationship with it that I say on a daily basis. It's just, all right, overshare. No, I used to delete them. And then I learned, whoa, that's a no-no. You're supposed to archive posts. So that was, again, another life lesson. This is why we share.
Every day you're learning something new that you're doing wrong on social media and that you got to switch, right? So I say, just, you know what? Just do what feels good and right to you. Make sure that you're providing value at some point. Make sure, and value doesn't have to be like the way that we use value as an educational component, but value is what you're doing right now, right? Bringing people together, having a laugh. That's also very valuable to just escape. The escapism part of social media is huge, right? That's primarily what people use it for, is to escape for a few minutes and to sort of refocus themselves, right? So I think value-driven content is where to be.
I agree, and that's probably what I end up gravitating more towards when I do the little heart or the save. Oh, that's a special one when I save a post. Yeah. Not really end up saving everything. I don't know. But I love that you were in market. It makes so much sense that you were in marketing before and then became an agent. There's just, because you have to market your clients. So I just think that's such a good background to have.
Yeah, no, I mean, it really helps out, right? It really helps out in positioning our artists. It really helps out in positioning the agency itself. I mean, our agency, I feel like we're doing great things. I feel like every day is just like, it's just another day in paradise, right? We're really, every day there's something to celebrate at the agency. And that's kind of been a blessing, but it's also because of our marketing work. I believe that the way that we market our artists to casting, the way that our agency, the reputation that we're building, the reputation that we have with casting directors as an agency that's sort of, and this is not my words, this is words from 3 or 4 casting directors, an agency that's changing the game, the landscape in Canada. So that's the reputation that we're building. And it's easy with that reputation to be able to take our talent and to showcase them, right? To bring them in front of because the casting directors are in fact excited to learn more about us and to get to see like who the new kid on the block is, right? So we're really riding that wave, so to speak.
I love that. And
Yeah.
can I ask details about your agency? Because to clarify, I know I've sent a couple people your way. So it is called Young, but it's not, you don't necessarily have to be young, maybe young at heart, but I don't think there's an age limit. That was clarified for me, which was helpful.
Yeah, that's right. So we're not like young as in age. Young is primarily used as a like as modern, right? We're younger in thinking. We're more modern. We're a lot
Your
more.
avocado toasty, that's
We're
what's happening. Okay.
toast. Yeah, exactly. Right. Avocado toast and organic raspberries.
Oh, fancy,
Yeah.
fancy. Non-organic. Who's eating that? Me? It's $1 cheaper. It's fine. Pesticides make you stronger. That's how we roll. But no, okay, sorry. I digress of words. But I really do like that how big is each roster? How big is your roster? How big is Emma's, if you don't mind my asking?
So, well, first of all, Emma and I, we cross-pollinate our rosters all the time. So one of the philosophies that we have at YCAA is a lot of agencies have their own dedicated roster, right? A lot of them have their own dedicated roster, and we have chosen to merge our rosters together. So every time there's an opportunity, instead of myself or Emma looking at who on her roster fits the bill best, we always sort of put whoever the YCAA artist is that's the best for the opportunity. So she will put some of my artists in a lot of times, and I will put some of her artists in just because they are the better fit for that opportunity, right? So that's kind of how it is. So I think we're at 30 now. I think we have a roster of 30 people, which is quite good. I like that number. We still have holes, right? We have some holes to fill, but we like that number. And obviously, for us, it's like it's most people have to audition, self-tape. They have to have a package and all that kind of thing. So it's really.
Jason, I greatly apologize. I'm totally listening. They're cleaning my window right now, and it terrified me. I wasn't ready. I am listening, but also there was a slamming at my window that gave me a heart attack, and that's the only reason that it drew my attention. I love that you have 30 people on your roster and that you cross-pollinate, though. Very into that. It was just a terrifying moment.
So are you you're in a building then? Is that correct?
I am. They're saying words. Yeah. You know what? We're gonna keep the window closed. So the window chats is pointless today. I should have just done it in my kitchen. But as long as you can't hear it, that's totally fine. There is stuff going on.
I can't hear it at all, actually.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, that's good.
There are things that I'm hearing. I'm like, okay, it's cool. I know they're cleaning, but yeah.
Stories.
Okay. No, it's totally fine. That's why you never know what's going to happen with the live. I'm glad that it's not affecting the chat other than me breaking your thought process. I apologize there.
All right.
But yes, okay. 30 people on the roster, cross-pollinating, and you're looking, I think I saw are you looking to build your roster, or is that, like, should people be reaching out to you?
Yeah, I mean, like, we always are looking. We try not to compete against ourselves, so
right.
It's very, very difficult for us to onboard a new client that looks kind of like one of the artists we already have on our roster. So there's a very long discussion in terms of, are we going to take this person, or if they look like someone, right? They have to have a very, very unique high-end skill level for us to bring on someone that kind of looks like someone who that we already have. In terms of holes, I mean, yeah, we've got tons of holes, right? We're kind of lean in the older artists market, right? Anything like 60 plus, we don't really have. Anything 8 years old and younger, we don't really have. It's been so hard finding that sort of talent, right? That have training. We're not looking for excessive training at that age, but we're looking for certain passion and certain training, and not like parent driven. And I think you and I have already spoken about that. Yeah. Parent drive that we try and avoid, right? We want to make sure that when we onboard a younger talent, it's really the younger talent that's seeking out or looking to make a career out of it.
Absolutely. And I really appreciated that discussion, because when it comes to being a child actor, if the parents want it more than the child, it's very uncomfortable to watch those auditions. And me realizing now that I was a child actor, I definitely want to apologize to the people that had to watch my auditions, because
No.
I was just confused, and yeah, that was a process. That was definitely some kind of training would have helped. I mean, again, like I did the acting, singing, dancing, but you go in and on camera is so different. When they ask you to slate, I'm like, wait, what's my name again? You just, again, the fear of it as a child, or even as an adult, if you don't have training, it's just you forget the basic things and you forget how to be a human. So, I mean, that explains why I was a very unsuccessful child actor. That's
Yeah,
one of the reasons, but yeah.
I mean, but you know, you also came at it from a point where you enjoyed it, right? You enjoyed performing, so there was that, as opposed to people who absolutely like. I understand what I guess we try and stay away from are those people that it's clearly just their drive. Like the child maybe watched one movie and said they enjoyed it, and the next day mom and dad are on the phone with us telling us that they have the next Brad Pitt or, you know, Meryl Streep, right? So it's kind of like it's those parents that sort of are way too transactional with their kids that sort of, I think, end up regretting it later on down the road, right? And I have absolutely no problem when it's parent driven without any lead at all by the child. I have no problem having a proper conversation with the parents and letting them know to back off a bit, right?
But that's great that you're able to have those conversations, because everyone's a little different with their approach. But I loved the honesty, and like you just, when we were in the clubhouse on the TikTok, I'm 80 now, but when we were in a clubhouse room, it was, you just have so much passion for everyone that you represent, and you're so excited when they book something, or even if they got an audition. Yes, we were working for this, we're getting there. And I love that so much, because you're so invested, right? And again, this isn't saying that I'm sure every agent is invested. This is just my experience with chatting with you, and I always appreciate that.
I really appreciate you saying that. I mean, for sure. I mean, we like to think that, you know, we're really, really big fans of our artists first and foremost. I think we're the biggest fans of our artists. And one of the things that's the hard part for me is I watch every audition that's sent to me, right? Even if it's like a hand commercial. I saw one of our artists here who had to do a hand, it was her first commercial, right? And I had to explain to her that that they always ask for the hands in hand commercials, right? And it was really funny, because she was like, am I a hand model? I'm like, well, you can write that on your resume now, hand modeling. But I watch everything, even if it is a hand commercial thing or something along those lines. I watch every single tape, and a lot of the times I'm part of the process with the artists at picking their best take, right? I analyze it, and a lot of times it's great. And the problem is I also in that part get invested, and I get very sort of not protective, but invest is the right word, right? When I send it to casting, and when I don't hear back from casting, because casting doesn't talk to anyone, right? When they need something from you, they're like on you like a hawk. But then when you need something from them, it's like, have they gone out of business? Because I can't reach them at all. So it's really, really, it's frustrating. That part of the game, or of the gig, is super frustrating. Is seeing these great performances, and not hearing back, and then the disappointment comes in, and that sort of thing. So yeah, you're right. We are huge fans of all our artists, and we're on this journey with them probably more than the average agent is, right? We really do, like you said, care is a big word for us, and we use it all the time at the agency.
I love having these conversations so much, because I've also heard from casting directors when someone thinks, because they also fight for actors, which is something that I wouldn't have realized if I hadn't been watching all these interviews with casting directors. Because you think you send it out there, maybe it wasn't good enough, even though you're 100% confident in it, and then it might just be production doesn't like it, or the director wants they just went in a completely different direction. So I find all these different levels and everyone's perspectives are so interesting, because when you're saying you can't hear back from casting, maybe they have 10 projects and 5,000 tapes they're looking at, right? So it's so so fascinating. But also as the agent, it's like, I want to know why they didn't get it because this was so good. And it's so hard I find the communication in this industry is the hardest part because it's like, it's a timing, we have to get it out, but also we don't have time to talk. So hopefully you got it on the first take because now it's all self-tape. So no real redirects. It's very, very interesting. I like to think at the end of the day, everyone just wants to make a good product, right? They just want to put together something and getting there, I think, depending on who you're working with and the production itself is always an interesting process. And I can always tell, like, they seem to have collaborated better because this production was a lot better than that one. So I enjoy assessing that.
Yeah, and I think you touched on it, like, I think you touched on it right on there in terms of the end product. And that's kind of what makes me keep going, is understanding that we are all looking for the best possible option. And right now, I mean, with the current events that are going on right now with the pandemic and all that stuff, there are so many people that previously were working, you know, as in a restaurant or something along those lines that no longer have that as their income and used to act like 5 years ago, did a couple things, but now that's all they have is the opportunity to try and book some of these commercials. And with the self-taping of everything, literally casting directors can now watch 10 times more people, can bring in 10 times more people than ever before. So it really isn't an actor's market. It's really a casting director and director's market at the moment, because they can be as specific as possible. There's a post that we have on our, I forget what it's called. If somebody can go in the chats, there's a post there's a post on our YCAA where it's a great story. Casting directors had sent for a body double for this one movie, a body double of a 10-year-old girl. And when I received the reference picture that they sent, I saw, and I thought it was one of our actors. I thought it was Sophia, one of our young actors. I was like, oh my goodness, that's Sophia, right? So then I never do this, but I pick up the phone and I call the casting director. And I say, hold off, I got her. I have her right here. Like, I'll send you a picture. So then, of course, this was at 2 p.m. and at 3 p.m. she got back from school. So, you know, mom took pictures and the pictures side by side, they look almost identical. And I mean almost identical. So then what happens is I sent it to the casting director. We're celebrating on the phone. She's like, oh my goodness, this is perfect. And I'm like, that's awesome. So I get super excited. I tell mom, okay, we got a good shot at this. You know, this is going to be a great opportunity for her to be on a real big set and stuff like that. And then 20 minutes later, I get a call. They're like, yeah, sorry, they found someone that was a better match. And I'm like, what? They're like, can you look at the picture? And I said, yes, I will. And they're like, yeah, so her hair is 1.5 inches too short. The other person that they found, her hair is dead on exactly the same length. So that is as specific as it gets. So it is not an actor's market. It is most definitely a casting director's dream right now, because they can see people, they can see like 25 people that look exactly what they're looking for and zero in on the one with the best skills, sure, but almost more so the one that looks more like the part that they have inside their head, right? Which is crazy.
I remember reading that story on your page, and I thought that it's so funny because it didn't surprise me, because they can get that specific, right? And that there are so many people who doesn't want to be an actor. Even the people that say they don't want to be an actor, everyone wants to act, right? Like, I think, Jason, if you got a role, would you do it? I mean, really?
I you know what? That's the one thing I don't fancy myself as an actor at all. I would not be able to do it. Although I have so much respect for the craft. So that's probably partly why I wouldn't do it, because it would take me, the person that I am is I would want to, if I were to jump in as an actor, I would 100% read everything I could, watch movies, take training. Like I immerse myself in most everything I do. So I couldn't do it casually. So if that's your question, but I mean, no,
you know what it is. And you're not the first person to say they wouldn't act even if they got a role. And I'm always shocked because there's something so fun just playing pretend, right? And I just thoroughly, I can't imagine that people wouldn't want to do that. But Jason, you proved me wrong.
No,
and
let me,
you know what, Jason? There's an agency, and they're looking for older. I was gonna say you can sign yourself to your roster if your reel is good enough. I think.
Yeah, no, exactly. If our reel's good, headshot's good enough. I see that Jack is in the chats here. He did do a pretty good shot. Like, I'm not going to say it's a headshot. He's a great local Toronto photographer. We use him all the time. Jack just jumped there. If you see him in the chats, he did actually take a really good shot of mine. And I must say the post-production work on that shot must have been weeks, if not months before. I think it took him months to get it back to me, right? Because it looks so perfect. But
I was going to say, because you needed that much touching up, Jason, give yourself more credit. Okay. Like, I thought actors were hard on themselves. Let's be kind. Okay. Everyone has their own imperfections, and that's what makes you unique.
I will say this though. When I was a teenager, I was in a rock band. I did play music, and I did enjoy the live interaction with the crowd. So if I were ever to do acting, it would most probably be theater, because I would want that crowd. I'm not too thrilled about film and TV productions. I know that a lot of actors are. I would probably more gravitate towards the theater, the experience, right? So if there was a role to ever be had where I had one line, it would probably be on the theater.
I'll keep you in mind. I'll cast you when I write a show. Don't worry, you're on the list. But apparently you might act in Jerry Maguire. Is Jack correct in that? I mean, okay.
Jerry Maguire is the one movie, right? The one movie. Fargo, another movie that I really love. But Jerry Maguire is basically the movie where I like Jack saying that because he knows me well now. I named my son Cameron after Cameron Crowe, right? Because I was such a fan of Jerry Maguire. So, yeah, I mean, the only way I would play in that movie is if I were hired by Jerry Maguire at his agency, because I believe so heartedly in his mission, that is his memo statement or whatever he calls it. I forget now, but in his mission statement, right? So I would 100% do it if I were hired on as one of his associates.
I want you to have the role of just being in charge of giving Cuba Good. When he says, show me the money, you have the money. That is your role. I want you to like have that pivotal scene, and you just, hello, sir, here's your money. I'm rewriting it. It should be entertaining.
Yeah, no, I will do that.
This is Jerry Maguire, the musical. So that is the role. You'll get your walk-on role. And would you like that in 10s or 20s, sir?
Sign me up.
Oh my God. I love that line. Is so fun. Oh.
That movie is great. Yeah. What movie? Okay. Everybody has the one movie. Like my wife, for her, it's Dirty Dancing. She can watch that movie over and over and over. And over. Right. And, but she loves it. And I think for me, it's probably like Jerry Maguire. Fargo, I'm a fan, but I don't know if I could watch it over and over again, but I'm a fan, right? Because I honestly think Fargo is probably the best movie of all times, in my opinion, for me, because it's just so perfect. The acting is so perfect. The cinematography is so perfect. The story is so perfect. Everything about that movie I felt was pretty close to perfection. That's praise for Fargo. That's nice. I honestly don't know if I've seen it yet, but I will watch it. I know. I was scared to say it, but I'm like, you know what, Robyn? I'm just going to say it. I'm not going to pretend I know the movie. So I said it. I will watch it just to see what you're raving about. Yeah. But I don't know if it's me just getting more analytical with films. I'm trying to find something I like in every film I watch now. Okay. So even I
I finally watched The Great Gatsby, and I was obsessed with how they filmed it. This was so artsy, and the way I was very impressed with that. And again, Leo is Leo, but I never appreciated cinematography more than after seeing that movie. It was I just felt so artsy. I'm like, oh, look at these angles, look at these shots. What's the shot list? Oh.
No, you're absolutely.
That's where I went with those. But it's weird that we don't go to a movie theater anymore, because I think that's really the only time when I would get frustrated with a movie that wasn't good. Because even now, if it's not good, okay, I'll give it like 20 minutes, half an hour. I watched it. I took whatever I wanted to out of it, but I can change the channel or do a different Netflix. But being in a movie theater, committing to 2 hours and watching crap, very frustrating.
Yeah, I mean,
especially because you think of all the money that goes into it, right? And all the casting and the money. And I'm like, did anyone read the script? This is garbage. And that being said, I would totally do anything. So I can understand signing up for it, right? Like, be like, that was garbage. Why didn't they cast me? So it's that kind of balance that I struggle with. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like I was saying, like popcorn just doesn't taste the same on your sofa, does it?
I don't think it's going to kill me as much, right? There's more of a health factor eating it at home versus all the buttery stuff they put on at the movie theater, all the chemicals. I have to feel like I'm dying when I watch a movie. I
love it. And I would not, you know what? I was just thinking that the other day, how much I miss the whole theater, just going to the movie theater experience, watching movies. I really, you know, these little things that you take for granted, right? Honestly, like going to the movie theater, eating popcorn and watching a movie, going to a baseball game. Like I couldn't stand going to a baseball game now. Now I'm dying to go to a baseball game, right? Just to have those experiences again will be great. So yeah. Movie's a big one, though.
Yeah, that was a whole experience. I mean, that being said, live theater, that's the biggest upset. And I greatly appreciate not having to spend money on Hamilton tickets, but watching it on the screen versus immersed in Hamilton, there's a difference.
Big time. Yeah, big time. I can't wait for things to get under control and we can open back up again. And yeah, absolutely. Theater production, because we have a lot of solid theater actors on our roster, right? Musical theater actors. And I just feel so bad for them because there's like zero going on right now. And it's like, and they get it. They understand it more than probably I do. But it's tough. It's so tough, right? Because like I said, there are people like me who would probably prefer the theater experience versus the on-camera experience, right? So I feel for those people. Absolutely.
Yeah. It looks like I'm crying. My eyes are just so dry right now. I'm very emotional with this chat. Like, oh my goodness, he's going to think I'm a little emotional mess. Ooh, I talked about this new mascara I bought and now I hate it. I don't understand makeup. So it's in my eye, but I'm going to push through because that's what I do. It's just going to look like I'm crying. But for you, Jason, you're really getting to me. Very emotional. But yeah. I have you for a couple. I'm very wary of the time. I have my clock. So I wanted to ask, this is my favorite question, in terms of, not to put you on the spot because people in your agency might be watching, but do you have like a success story or a couple success stories that you want to share? Maybe, yes?
Yeah, I think I've got a couple of success stories. Like, I mean, there are a lot of people on our agency watching, and in my opinion, they're like, you could literally scroll and pick a name and I would tell you what their success story is because they've all had kind of a success story with us in some way, right? I mean, I'm looking at the last comment, Joshua. I'll pick that one because he's right there right now. Joshua actually had applied to the agency and we had passed on him. We had passed on him because we thought, oh, okay, he could use a little more training and that kind of thing. We loved his look. We loved, you know, I think he applied almost by himself, and he was 14 or 15 at the time, and he applied by himself, and we had passed on him. And passing on a 14 or a 15-year-old who's done that much work is difficult. Emma, to her credit, went back and reviewed the tapes and watched his self-tape again. And she's like, you know, I think there's something about this Joshua artist, right? So I'm like, you know what? If you want to take him on board, let's do it. I mean, I didn't feel right the first time, and if you think you can work with him, you can. And sure enough, she called. She met with Joshua and his mom, and she took him on. And I literally think a couple weeks later, he was the lead in a music video. Right.
Whoa.
Yeah. So, and he's like one of the hardest workers that we had. Like, he literally, as soon as we sort of even put a post out about anything, you know, we know Joshua's like, oh, I'm going to have to do that. I'm going to get this book. I'm going to read that book. I'm going to do this training. So he's really committed. And that's one big way of making our roster, is being extremely committed to the craft and learning. And he does that. So that's one, but we have millions of little stories. Like I said, every day there's something new to celebrate, right? Every single day with every single artist, we have there's like a little victory lap, right? There's something going.
The fact that you said there's not just one, right? The fact that you said you could say everyone's success story is so beautiful. I wish I was crying right now. I wish that's when my eyes were bothering me. It's so nice.
You to go down the list and ask me any one of our artists, and I will tell you what their success story is. Because
I mean, look, I saw Sarah, and I know Sarah's been doing really well. So
sure, I'll go success story. Sarah, so there's a lot to celebrate with Sarah, because she books a lot of commercials, right? So she's kind of like, what we call her is the commercial queen, right? Like, if there's like a late 30, early 40 something mom, guess what? We got her. We got her on roster. That's Sarah. So she books a lot of commercials. So, but her whole thing was she wanted to transition into movies. Her end game, and it's kind of become like her whole goal. I think once she reaches this goal, every single artist on the roster is going to lose their mind. So it's like her goal, Sarah's goal, has become our agency's goal. She just wants to be in a Christmas movie and watch herself at Christmas with her family. So
that is my goal. I respect that. Sarah, we will chat. That is a very valid goal. Movie of the week is hard. That is.
Yeah, so
that's
that goal. So of course I knew who was casting most of those movies, and I drove all the way. Now, keep in mind, she was non-union, and she wanted to be union. So we took her plan. We took Sarah's plan, and we reverse engineered it. We said, okay, well, you got to become union. Okay, how do we get you union? We got to get you to get 2 or 3 lines on a union movie, and we got to get that, and blah, blah, blah. So I literally drove all the way to Ottawa. Now, I didn't just drive for Sarah, but I drove, and I know who the casting director is. I spoke with them, and yeah, and then like basically
you were talking about her. That's so funny.
Absolutely. And then so when I came back that weekend after I came back from Ottawa, she 100% had a deal memo waiting for us at like 8 a.m. on a Monday. So to her credit, it was awesome. That was a good celebration. That was a good little moment, right?
I love these stories so much. Okay. Hi, Alona.
High five. I didn't want to.
Was that a high five? I didn't
know if I was allowed to name her, but yes, she is the casting director.
She just joined. It was honestly,
joined at the right moment,
her ears were burning. She knew we were discussing this.
Buzzing.
Oh, that's.
But yes, we love Smythe casting for sure. We do.
I love that. I love all those Christmas movies. Everyone Lives Happily Ever After. It's great.
It really is. It really is the Christmas movie journey for Sarah Cleveland. We are going to achieve it. We're getting there. We're so close. So yeah, like I said, for us, there's every single one of our artists has a little success story that we could celebrate. And I just gave you 2 right there, right? So
I was going to do the heart because Alona said, we love you both so much. And then I do the awkward heart where Robyn can't do a heart with her hands. It's really fun.
Yeah, no.
That's not on my resume. I don't make hearts with hands. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's awesome.
I love that so much. Yeah, again, it was just success stories, but you opened with everyone at your agency has their own story, and I love that you know every single story. you're just very invested, right? And
Yeah.
it's a beautiful thing. And again, I will preface, I'm not saying every other agent is not invested, but again, it's that I can hear it in your voice. I can hear that warmth and that you want them to succeed and how can we make this happen? And it's that kind of from what they're doing in the States, right? There's a manager and an agent, but you're both the manager and the agent, which is really a lot. It's really demanding being an agent in Toronto, in Canada in general, because there is no separate manager and agent like there is in the States. So everyone that has an agent, appreciate your agent because they're doing a lot. But it's what you're doing and the way you've invested in your talent. It's a beautiful thing. And you're still, when did you start? You started not too long ago, right? Was it a couple years ago?
It's been over a year now, but I mean, we really started getting going at the end or middle of last year. That's when we really started understanding what we were all about, how we were going to be able to make a move in this industry, how we were going to be able to change things. So yeah, So I think late 2019 is when we officially registered the company and that kind of thing and all that stuff. But we really got going summer of 2020. So yeah.
You are using this pandemic and you're taking full advantage of it somehow. I don't know what that meant. That sounded better in my head, and then I said it and I'm like, what does that mean? So we move on from that comment because it made no sense. But you are opening a business during a pandemic. That's what I meant to say. Which is impressive, right?
It is. I mean, I come from a background where I was in commercial, right? And I was the other side of the camera, right? I wasn't the agent. I was producing, and we were working with brands and companies in Canada to make commercials. And the consistency of how artists would come to set and had very little knowledge of what was going on or who really their agent was. And I understand that it may be different slightly in film and TV, but it wasn't that much different where I felt there was a big disconnect and there was a way to improve the whole industry, right? The service level as a whole, because I dealt with this talent and it seemed like I had more of a relationship with them working 2 days than they themselves had with their agent over year and year of working. So that's when I started talking to, people that I knew in the industry, in the film industry in Canada and also New York. And I just said, look, I'm thinking of starting an agency that's going to represent actors and that's going to put actors first. And that's going to work with actors to build their careers and reach their goals, right? And sort of an elaborate conversation went on. And at the end of the conversation, people who were in the business for 20 to 25 years were both saying, if you do that, you're going to break the industry. You're going to change things. If you do exactly what you said you're going to do. Which is tough, and I am, and we are doing exactly that. We are very invested in our artists, and we do build careers and have separate goals for each and every one of our artists, right? And
I really wanted to make a joke. Is it a SMART goal? You know, those things are.
It is a SMART goal.
Is it specific and measurable? Is it attainable?
Okay. No, absolutely. It's 100% that. I don't know if you knew about this, but at January 2021, we had a Zoom call with all of our artists, every single one of them, and we talked about SMART goals, and we did a workshop on having 2021 goals for every one of our artists, and we after that 1 hour session on Zoom, and I know we have some artists here that are watching this live right now. Please confirm that this happened. What I'm saying happened.
I believe you.
Yeah,
I see when you have these Zoom sessions, it's great.
Yeah, we had this Zoom session with all of our artists talking about goals and how we're going to reach them and what our plan was going to be. And after that, every single one, Emma would reach out, would have a half an hour private Zoom with each and every one of our artists. And I did as well to go over our goals and to talk about what we were going to try and achieve in 2021. So, yeah. that's basically how we did it. So yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because we spoke about SMART goals.
Yeah, Josh confirmed it, so I believe you. Or Joshua. I shortened your name because I decided we're friends and I gave you a nickname. That's how I roll. But
Yeah.
I love that so much. I really do, Jason. It's everything you're doing. It's really great. I did want to, are you still doing the Monday night clubhouse stuff with Hollywood North?
Yeah.
Is that okay? Because look, I'm gonna be honest. Randy and I were wondering if that was happening. And we were on Clubhouse and we're like, I guess there's no room last Monday. I know it was Easter, but I'm Jewish, so I thought we would still do the room. I learned I was wrong. But we should plug it, right? Anyone that's on Clubhouse? Yeah.
Awesome. So, yeah, I think it's Monday nights at 7 o'clock. And
sounds right.
It's with Alona, myself, yourself, Randy, who's a star. Has Randy been on this show yet? On your show?
No, but I'm going to invite him.
Yeah, awesome. And who else? Oh, Carly.
I think Carly, yeah.
Carly is also going to try and make it. She's been super busy lately. But yeah, so it's a Canadian-driven, Canadian-led room. And yeah, so we're going to try and make something out of it.
Yeah, you never know. Sorry, pardon?
Starting this Monday all over again.
I say starting this Monday. I won't be there this Monday. I have to final class in my thing, but everyone else should go. So make up for me not being there. There you go.
Sure. Absolutely.
That's awesome. Is there any final words? I know we've approached the time limit, so I don't want to cut you off. I want to respect your time though, because you are very invested in everyone that you represent. Yes, Alona's very excited about Hollywood North. Yay! Thumbs up. She did 3. 1, 2, 3. I've never done that before. First time for everything.
Yeah, so Hollywood North, we can end on that. Hollywood North is a room that we both have in common, that we both moderate with Alona and Carly and Randy. And it's a room that we hope will provide value to Canadian artists, and hopefully we'll be able to drive Canadian content, because it is Hollywood heavy at the moment. But isn't it always though? Isn't it always Hollywood heavy? And so we're going to try and make a little Canadiana room.
Yeah, we got to get more Canadian representation on Clubhouse. I keep saying that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that. But thanks, Jason. Thank you so much for joining me, and have a great weekend. And you keep doing you, and good luck to all your talent, because I look forward to seeing, honestly, just amazing things happening with them. So you keep doing, I keep saying, I need a better phrase. You keep doing you. That's like the lamest, that's a yearbook quote, right? Don't stop believing. Anyways.
I love it, but thank you so much for, having me on the show. I'm a big fan of yours, and I think that what you're doing is great. The consistency of it all is great. And yeah, I'm just so excited that you gave us the platform to talk about our agency the way that we do what we do.
Yeah, of course. My pleasure.
Thank you.
We're going to do an awkward sign-off. Oh, pardon?
Join our challenge. Join our health breakfast yoga New Age challenge, and follow the dream, right? We're going to...
Okay, honestly, I was going to eat a donut before this chat, so I don't know if I belong in the Healthy New Age challenge, but I appreciate and respect what you and Sarah are doing. I will commend you.
Thank you.
All right, have a great weekend.
All right, see you later.
Bye.
Bye.